What's going on, guys? Dwayne here with Dwayne TV, and in this video I want to talk to you guys about the credit card that began to rebuild my credit score. A lot of people want to know the hack to how to get a high credit score, how to improve your credit score. Of course, we're all concerned with things that are going to help us get to our destination a lot faster, even take a shortcut to get to our destination. Well, this video, once again, I'm going to be talking about the credit card that I used that got me started on my journey to rebuilding my credit, which was back in 2013. But hey, listen, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dwayne, and on this channel, I talk about credit cards, how to make money using credit cards. I talk about driving Uber. I actually show my own personal journey in regards to investing in the stock market. And of course, I am on this journey of doing 2 miles a day for every single day. 2 miles a day for 200 days, which is every day I'm going to be running 2 miles a day. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. All right, so it's Monday. I normally do live streams on Mondays at 7 p.m., but I started this one a little bit earlier today so that I can have the opportunity to get out a little bit earlier. But like I said, in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the credit card that I used back in 2013 that helped me start my journey to rebuild my credit. So a little backstory. I had good credit. I think I got my first credit card I want to say 1999. It's probably before that. It may have been 98 or 97 because I was 18 in 96. I was 18 in 96. And so anyway, I don't know why I'm thinking 99, but so I had good credit, ruined it maybe around 2000. And then I started to rebuild it. There was a lot of debt consolidation stuff. So of course I did that, and my credit was repaired and rebuilt, and I was good to go like in '02 or so. Had decent credit from like '02 to 2009. Didn't really know a lot about credit just because there weren't a lot of things available to us back then like there is now. There's free information everywhere about like what your credit score is made of, and what are the 5 different categories and how this affects your credit score and all that good stuff. You really can dig it up on your own. And then of course we didn't have apps like Credit Karma that's free, right? So there were a lot of things that we just didn't know. So kind of ruined my credit in 2009, and then so started to rebuild my credit in 2013. Now in 2013 I was nowhere close to being in a position to rebuild my credit. However, this is a great lesson for a lot of people to consider. I was nowhere close. My credit was very, very bad, and I still owed people money, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to pay them their money. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start the journey anyway. And man, I love when life provides you opportunities where, you do something and you don't necessarily know how it's going to end, or you do something that's totally random, and then one day that random thing becomes very useful to you. So I decided, you know what? My journey is nowhere close to being perfect before I start, but I'm going to start. And so I remember getting from Capital One, back in the day, it's the Capital One Platinum card. And a lot of things have changed from 2013 till now. It's 2024. You can go on the Capital One website and see if you pre-qualify for any of their cards, which is freaking incredible. It makes it a little bit easier to kind of pull the trigger on applying for the card. I mean, being pre-qualified or pre-approved doesn't always mean that you're going to get the card, but once again, it makes it a little easier for you to apply for the card. So back in 2013, Capital One had the Platinum card, and they just sent me a good old, USPS in the mail. And I saw the card, didn't really know much about Capital One. There weren't a lot of Capital One commercials like there are now, clearly, right? What's in your wallet, the Quicksilver card type of thing. By the way, smash the thumbs up. I see I got 1 thumbs up just then. Thank you so much. Smash the thumbs up if you're watching this video. And also, if you have any questions, definitely slap them into the comments section. So yeah, so I ended up getting the Capital One Platinum card back in 2013. Please keep in mind, in 2013, I owed quite a bit of money to different credit card companies, mostly Chase. I probably owed like $15,000, $16,000. There were some life things that had taken place, and I just didn't have the funds. At that time, I definitely didn't have, like thousands of dollars sitting in my bank account. As a matter of fact, it's some ridiculous stat that the average person in the United States, like I think it's like 60%, like something really ridiculous, doesn't have $500, at least $500 in their savings account, right? That's so many people are living paycheck to paycheck. And we all know $500 is nothing, but if you don't have it, it's something. So I started the journey in 2013, once again, when things were not optimal. And this is very important. You don't need things to be perfect and ideal to start a journey. That's not what starting the journey is about, right? It's the start. The start of something is never perfect. The start of something is never going to be achieving at a high level. If you started to learn a new skill today, you can't have the expectation that you're going to be excellent today, because that's not how it works. Even though some of us do attempt things and do kind of bring that energy towards the thing that you've never done before. Like, I should be good at this. Why? Right? So I started the journey. Once again, my credit was totally jacked up. So in 2013, I started that journey. In 2014, I got the Quicksilver card from Capital One because they sent me another good old mailing and said that I was pre-approved for the Capital One Quicksilver card, which offers 1.5% cashback. Didn't know anything about cashback. Clearly cashback was around in 2014, but I had no clue. So I applied for that card with Capital One. So 2013 Capital One Platinum, 2014 Capital One Quicksilver card. 2015, I got a car loan for my 2014 Honda Accord. And one of the reasons I got the car loan was I had a car loan before with American Honda back in 2007. And so my credit was still jacked up in 2015, but they were like, hey, we see that you had a relationship with American Honda Finance at the time, and it was a good relationship, even though that car that we got in 2007 we didn't keep, but it was a good relationship and it ended well. So they said, okay, we're going to work with you, right? My interest rate was 7.7%, which at that time in 2015, it's bad. And so I got a loan through Capital One of all people. Now, of course, I didn't strategically think, okay, I need to start this journey so that in a couple of years, I'm going to get a car. Just to give you guys an idea of my car situation, I had a 2001 Chevy Cavalier. I got that car in 2003. My dad gave it to me as a graduation present, which is kind of funny. He was like, oh, you're Lexus. And it was a 2001 Chevy Cavalier. It was white. It had no hubcaps. The driver's door and the passenger side door were two different doors. It was crazy. Okay. So I drove that car from 2003 all the way to 2014. Okay, because I'm that guy. Like, I don't like car notes because I don't need something else to pay for. So I was able to get a loan with Capital One in 2015, December 2015. That loan with Capital One may have not been possible if I didn't start my relationship with Capital One in 2013. So believe it or not, yes, there are ways to kind of bump your score and improve your score. But if you're going to be building or better yet, rebuilding your credit score, it's a lot harder to rebuild your credit score than it is to build it from scratch. Building your credit score from scratch is going to be a lot easier to have a higher score. Now, having a high score when you're building from absolute scratch is not going to be as awesome as you think. Like, you can have a 720, 730 easily right out the gate your first year. But the thing is, of course, you may not get the type of credit limits you want, or you may not get the types of loans that you want because you don't have a history of payment, right? So even though you have a 7-something credit score in the beginning, you may find out that people don't want to extend credit or loans to you because you don't have this history. So it's just interesting that you can have a high score number wise, but you can still not get the opportunity to get the credit cards or financing that you want because you don't have the history. So once again, the Capital One Platinum card, nothing special, no annual fee. I mean, and I'm glad that I'm kind of shining light on this because, like, there's nothing flashy. It's interesting that a lot of things in life, I mean, there's not a lot of flashy stuff going on when you're building. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of stuff that may seem insignificant to the outsider looking in, which is very interesting. When someone is looking in, they don't know the journey that you're on, and they don't know the actions that you're taking daily or monthly or whatever. So that was my start back in 2013. And I think I probably ended up having an 800 credit score. I want to say like 2021, maybe towards the end of 2021. So it took me almost 10 years to get an 800 credit score. And, by the end of 2021, I had over 20 credit cards. I have a lot of available credit, all this stuff. So it's interesting because, once again, a lot of us want to know the shortest route to our destination. And if you're any kind of adult that's experienced a little bit of life, you know that life is not always a straight line. As a matter of fact, it's rarely a straight line. If it's a straight line for you, you're clearly lucky. But I wanted to just kind of shine some light on that, because a lot of us, when we're getting started, or when we feel like we should have the best cards right out the gate and then we do not, we get discouraged. But once again, it's the start of a journey. It's the start. So in the start, you shouldn't have high standards. You should just be happy that you're getting a credit card, or that you're approved as opposed to denied, that type of thing. So I'm not necessarily a huge Capital One fan, but I definitely have to say that Capital One has been absolutely incredible to me, because they helped me start my journey to rebuilding my credit. Prior to 2013, I had Chase cards, I had American Express cards, I had Discover cards. Like, I had some pretty good cards. Now, I didn't have the gold card from American Express. I didn't value it because, of course, I wasn't trying to pay no annual fee, right? Like, I'm not into that. So I had a pretty decent situation regarding credit. And then it took me ruining my credit 2 times to get to the place that I am now, and now I'm in a really comfortable position where, all the time that I use my credit card, I do have the money in my bank account to cover that purchase, which is how you would like to be when it comes to credit. You would like to have the money in your bank. If you don't have it in the bank, don't use the credit card. Now, of course, we all know life happens, and it's easy for me to sit here and say that, right? But I'm just talking about the most ideal situation. Of course, it wouldn't make any sense if I'm telling you to just borrow money from your credit card and pay back 26%. Like, that would be silly to do that. And it would be silly for me to give that advice. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the money in the bank account. All right. That's going to be pretty much it for that portion of the video. This is a live stream, so if you guys have any questions, you definitely want to feel free to jump into the comment section. So I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about now. But I'm going to jump into the comment section first real quickly and greet you guys. I see we got Pipeline Podcast in the building. Says Dwayne is back again. Notification Squad made it on time. Let's go. We got Kenneth. What's going on? Kenneth says, how are you doing, Dwayne? I'm doing well, my brother. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure to see you. We got D Green in the building. Says, hello, Dwayne. Good to see you. Yes, sir. Are you still enjoying that Tesla? We got Neo in the building. Says, hello. There we go. It's an honor to see you. It's always a pleasure to see a friendly face for sure. Pipeline Podcast says, so yeah, I was saying on the last live stream, M1 Finance lowered their annual membership from $95 to $36 or $3 a month at the same top tier, and only membership they have or $2 less than Robinhood. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I thank you for your consistency, Pipeline Podcast, because believe it or not, when you tell me, like, when I see the stuff like this in the chat, I don't always remember to continue to, like, after the live stream is over, to like look it up. Like today, my schedule has been bananas. Like, I woke up this morning, my alarm was supposed to go off at 3:45. I woke up at like 3:28, and I decided to stay up. So I started my day pretty early. I started driving Uber at 4 o'clock. I stopped around, I don't know, like 10 o'clock or so, went to the gym, did a little workout, and then started again like at 1 o'clock. Maybe it wasn't 10 o'clock. But anyway, I stopped and I went to the gym. And then I drove again until like 4:30. So like today's been a long day. And I've committed to doing these 2 miles a day for 200 days. So like I'm shooting videos, talking about and giving my time for mile 1 and mile 2, and kind of giving a quote for the day type of thing. And then I have to edit that video and upload the video. And then I did another video today talking about Uber. And now I'm here doing this live stream. So today's been very, very productive. I can't complain. I wish every day was like this, but it takes a lot of energy to do that. Neil says, I am rebuilding my credit. Life has been getting rough. I decided to change my profession and chase my dreams. First of all, kudos to you for chasing your dreams. Thank you so much for taking the time to share that information here in the chat. And yeah, I mean, listen, that's what I love about life. Like, you know, people say life is short, but life is also very long in the sense that, man, these years take years to go by. Like I'm 45, and you know, as much as I could say these years flew by, they definitely did not fly by at the same time. It's very interesting, like being 45 and talking to someone that's like 30, or they're like, oh yeah, I'm 30. And I'm like, yo, that was 15 years ago for me. You know, I mean, feels like yesterday, but it doesn't feel like yesterday at the same time. So congratulations to you for chasing your dreams. Very important that you do that. And you also owe it to yourself, because you definitely don't want to ask what if or I should have done. And I feel like to some extent we're all gonna wish that we would have and should have done certain things. So let's make whatever those things are a lot shorter. Make that list a lot shorter, because you know, always looking back, hindsight is 20/20, and there's always things that you're going to realize looking back on it. Now, I'm not saying you should regret those things, but I'm just saying, yeah, so good for you. Pipeline Podcast says he's listening while driving. All right. We got a pimp is in the house. What's going on? Says Dwayne, it's been a long time, brother. Glad to see you again. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for stopping by, my man. It's a pleasure to have you in the building again. Definitely haven't said your name in a while. Pipeline says, I also really love my M1 borrow with M1 Plus because it's always 1 to 2% current prime rate to borrow from your portfolio. Yeah, I mean, actually, I got in trouble the other day from my with my margin account on Robinhood, because I've been very aggressive with the stock market, and I'm not trying to day trade or anything, but I've been aggressive with, like, and by aggressive, I really mean stupid. Let me be very clear. I've been very stupid regarding how I've been using my margin investing money. So I actually got in trouble the other day, and I had to sell some of my shares with one of the positions I had, which really kind of upset me, because I, you know, like basically I needed to deposit more money in the account because one of the stocks that I had purchased had gone very, very low. And so it's ridiculous. Like, I've been investing in the stock market since 2020, and I am so far in the hole, kinda. And I wouldn't be had I just invested in boring, straightforward, you know, ETF, you know, like, you know, the S&P 500 or the entire stock market. I would be way better off had I taken that approach, or even if I had just taken the approach of investing in like Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. I would be way better off than I am now. But man, it's just tricky. You live and you learn type of thing. True Benjamin, what's going on, man? Says salute. Thank you, sir, for stopping by. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. Speaking of in the building, we have 12 viewers right now. If you guys have any questions, please throw them into the comment section. I will do my best to answer the questions. I am not necessarily planning on being here all night in regards to this live stream, because I still, believe it or not, I still got to go get gas. I need to put some air in my tires, and I need to get to bed because I got to get up at 3:45 to drive Uber again tomorrow. So I definitely will not be on here for a long time. And I got to squeeze in some trash TV, you feel me, in there. And I need to do all of this before 9:30, right? 9:45. Because I'm getting up at 3:45, so I get 6 hours of sleep. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to throw them into the comment section. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in regards to Neo talking about pursuing their dreams, you know, once again, kudos to you. You definitely want to do that. I want to encourage you guys to do that, you know, and even if it's not pursuing your dream, but just pursuing being a better version of yourself, pursuing taking your health more serious, pursuing your finances, being in a better space, pursuing providing for your future self. You know what I mean? Like the future you, like 20, 25, 30 years down the road, you. I want to encourage you to, get information about that and take the necessary steps in order to accomplish that. Listen, if you haven't smashed the thumbs up yet, please smash the thumbs up in this video. It helps tremendously. Neil says, my retail fell from $10 to 50 cents. I got $8. Wow. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know about losing money in regards to the stock market. And, I'm at this point now where I'm just not even, it does faze me. And it's super irritating. But, once again, it's one of those things where hindsight is 20/20. You could always look back and say, I should have sold here, or I should have done this here. And so I don't know. Every year is always an opportunity for me to kind of be a little more focused and maybe have a different strategy, or maybe tighten up on some things. One of the things that people don't tell you in regards to the stock market is like kind of like what's your overall goal, and because there's so many ways to do things with the market and there's no rules, depending on how aggressive or greedy you are, you can really get yourself in trouble. And depending on, how much risk you want to take, once again, you can really get yourself in trouble. So my portfolio is in absolute shambles. And I'm hoping that, listen to this, I'm hoping, stupid. I'm hoping that, it recovers, and I think it will. But yeah, we shall see. Neil says, I want to reestablish my business relationship with Capital One. I just have to pay back 2 old card balances. Well, yeah, I mean, or you could go with somebody totally new. I'm not saying don't pay the balances off, but definitely if Capital One gives you a hard time, you definitely want to consider going with someone new. There are a lot of options out there. If you have the opportunity to go with Navy Federal, that's a good one. If you have the opportunity to do Chase, that's a good one as well, especially business. Chase has great business cards. And so you may not try to get a business credit card right off the bat with Chase, but the beauty is you can get a personal checking account. You can get a business checking account. They have sign-up offers with Chase for the personal and the business checking account. So once you get that account and establish that relationship, then you can, kind of feed your transactions through that checking account so that you have a little history with them. And then, easily 6 months to a year after that, you should be able to be in a position where you'll get approved for one of their credit cards, especially on the business side. Chase has phenomenal business credit cards. Capital One business cards are okay, but Chase definitely has phenomenal cards. A pimp says, I confess, Dwayne, you've given me great information since 2019. And yeah, I let my credit score down. I'm working on it now. Now, listen, I mean, that's another beauty about life. The fact that you can always start again, and you can start now, right? I love that about life. And I love that about living in the United States. To be honest with you, there are not a lot of places in the world where you can restart and reinvent, and rebuild. And the United States is probably the best place to do something like that. So there's plenty of opportunities to right the ship. You know what I mean? Change the direction. And I mean, honestly, I just love the fact that, at certain points in your life, you may think somebody else has it all together. They have it all figured out, and they might, and you don't, but they don't. That doesn't mean they'll always have it together and they'll always have it figured out, and you'll always be, behind, right? Life is beautiful in that way that, the people that were hot stuff 18, 16, 17 in high school, and they were super popular, and they drank and party, and now they look like doo-doo, right? And now, like I'm 45 and I am doing a lot better than a lot of my peers. None of those people I care about. Like anybody that was popular in high school, I don't know them. I didn't really know them then, and I don't know them now. But I do know that I'm doing a lot better than a lot of my peers. And I certainly prefer doing better now at 45 than being hot stuff at 18 and 17, right? Or even 21 in college, right? I prefer to have blossom and mature now in my life than to be on the way down like a lot of my peers are. I am super proud of myself for being in great shape. I'm in the best shape of my life right now, which is crazy because I'm 45 and I'm doing things at this age that I have never done. So it's certainly interesting, and I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that for sure. Be sure if you have any questions or comments, slap them into the comment section. Okay, Neil says my startup broke me. I started a fashion business. I made clothing. I had a good relationship with Chase and US Bank. Oh man, that's tough. Yeah, I mean that's definitely tough. But the thing about that is like, in time you can reestablish a relationship with Chase. I know for me, I'm still waiting from 2019 because my situation with Chase got jacked up in 2019. And so I'm still kind of waiting to see if I can reestablish a relationship with them. I had a relationship with Chase, and then I reestablished that relationship. I ruined it in 2009, and I reestablished it in 2017 with Chase. Got another credit card. Everything was fine. Got a business account with them. And then, in 2019, they pulled the trigger on me. So we'll see what happens in another 7 years from 2019 until 2026 or 2027. I'll try again with Chase and we'll see what happens. A pimp says Navy Federal closed my credit card since I dropped below 600. Really? Excuse me. Is that what they told you? Like, that's kind of wild. I mean, Navy Federal is kind of user friendly in that way. I mean, I'm curious if that's what they actually told you. Pipeline Podcast says it's crazy to think about me hitting 15,000 invested into VTI and being able to borrow 6,000 from my portfolio. And I've only ever had one car loan. And my plan is for next year loan to be on M1 borrow. That's pretty smart, especially if you can get a good rate for that loan. That would be pretty freaking smart. A pimp says not 45, but Super Bowl 45. LOL. Gotta put some pizzazz on it. Super Bowl 45. Oh man. Podcast says for context, I got my current car loan with M1 borrow. It would be 100 versus now at 30. I don't know if I understand that actually. A pimp says, yes, sir. Sent a letter in the mail. I called the lady, said the same. Interesting. Wow, man, that's news. First of all, thank you for sharing that here with the community. Yeah, that's news. That's news to me. Very, very interesting, especially since you hear these stories about whoever having a 500 something credit score and getting approved for $20,000 with Navy Federal. So it's always interesting, but definitely appreciate you sharing that. Listen, if you have any questions, slap them into the comment section. I see we have 16 viewers, only 5 thumbs up. Can a brother get some love? Can you smash the thumbs up for your boy? I would really, really appreciate that. What do you guys think about my challenge to myself to do 2 miles a day for 200 days? I'm on day 22 because it's January 22. And I wish I can tell you that because it's day 22 that the journey is getting easier. I wish I could tell you that, but it's not. It's not necessarily any easier. As a matter of fact, I'm running on the treadmill, and running on the treadmill is like absolute torture. I much prefer to run outside. And I have been paying attention because I drive Uber. So my gym is Planet Fitness. So I'll work out at this location and then that location and this location. And I will tell you that some of the treadmills are different. There are a couple of treadmills, the newer ones that are at my gym, that feels like you're running on an incline. It's the weirdest thing. Like the incline is on 0, but it feels like I'm running on an incline. I don't know if because the way they set them, they're just there's zero incline has an incline. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely not flat. My home gym, that treadmill is absolutely flat, and I feel it and I notice it, because when I run on another treadmill that's not like the one that is at my gym, and my gym is that treadmill's a little older, man, like I'm fighting for my life. And like, the first 2 minutes is a struggle, and then like 5 minutes in is a struggle, and then it's like, okay, come on, you almost did the first mile. You know what I mean? Whereas if I'm running outside, I don't feel that. Like, it may be a struggle, but because I'm moving and I'm seeing stuff, and more importantly, I'm moving, it doesn't bug me. But not moving and staying on the treadmill, and like, man, like it's not the easiest. And granted, I guess I could start off a little slower. I noticed that I've been kind of starting fast. When I started to kind of jog, I used to, probably do like 5.8, 5.6 or something like that. Now I'm starting at 6.2, 6.4, like starting. So I should probably start a little bit slower to kind of warm myself up. But after I get past the first 10 minutes or so, the longer I run, the more warm my body gets, and the more I focus on like trying to make it feel easy. And it ends up feeling a little easier as time goes on. It's definitely impressive to me because, I definitely can run a lot. Like, I've run 14 and a half miles before straight, which was very interesting. And it was just about not stopping. You know what I mean? Because I'm saying to myself, man, you could run a half a marathon, Now, of course, I'm not trying to set any records or anything like that. I'm just trying to basically not stop. Anyway, let me jump back in the comment section. Neo says, thanks for your help. Absolutely. Great challenge. Keep it up. Planet Fitness is the best. It is my gym as well. Yeah, I like Planet Fitness a lot. I mean, that price is super user friendly. I actually have the black membership, the black card membership. So it's like $23.87, something like that. For me personally. Listen, I've been working out, and I swear there's muscle right here. There's a little ab situation right here. And, I got a cramp, like a muscle spasm in that region the other day, and I was freaking out because it was like protruding, and I was like, what is this? Today I was doing something in the gym, and I like kind of working my abs a little bit, and I ended up getting that same, like, it was like a Charlie horse, but like right here, like my upper ab, like right below my rib cage, or I don't know what's going on there. I was like, I didn't even know there was like a muscle there. You feel me? Like, I mean, talk about pain. And it still kind of hurts, like, even now, even though I'm not doing anything. But yeah, definitely having an interesting time. Whatchamacallit? A pimp says, Dwayne, I challenge you to run full sprint for 30 seconds, light jog for 1 minute, and then go cycling for 30 minutes. I would do it with you, but I got a date with a steak nacho supreme deluxe. That's funny. Yeah, I know that sprints are actually really, really good. It's interesting. Like, for me, the reason I chose to do 2 miles a day, for 200 days, obviously 100 day is easier. 200 days is a lot harder, in my mind. And because it has a nice ring to it, 2 miles every day for 200 days, right? But I chose the 2 miles because in high school, we had to run 2 miles in 16 minutes. And I was never, ever able to do it. Like, I always stopped or walked a little bit on on lap 5 or lap 6, maybe even lap 7. But I've never ran 8 laps straight. Never. And of course, 16 minutes is not easy to do, right? It's not necessarily easy to do in high school, but of course, a lot of people can do it. Not your boy. And so I chose that on purpose because, like, I know that, when I was pretty healthy, I still couldn't run 2 miles, and I definitely didn't train at that time, but I just couldn't do it. So that's why I chose 2 miles, because it's just a reminder that like, okay, you're doing all right, you know. And most adults, most people, once they're 30, they never run a mile again after they're 30. And I guess it makes sense because like, who's out here really doing, you know, running? Who's out here like, I'm gonna run a mile? You know what I mean? We'll do other things, but running a mile is not at the top of people's lists. You know, we might play sports. Hi, Martha. Thank you so much for taking the time to comment. I appreciate you. Martha says this is first time joining. Thank you, Martha. That is awesome. Thank you so much for commenting. If you have any questions at all, slap them into the comment section. If you feel like sharing from where you're watching, like I'm doing this live stream from Houston. I live in Houston. If you feel like sharing that, that's cool. But if you have any questions at all, definitely slap it into the comment section. I talk about a lot of different things here on the channel. The channel started as a credit channel, and it was a credit channel for the longest time. And then I changed the name to Dwayne TV because I wanted to be able to put all my content here on this channel. You know, so I talk about credit cards. I talk about driving Uber. I talk about investing in the stock market. And of course, driving Uber keeps me kind of busy. And I just started to do 2 miles a day for 200 days. So I have to document that and shoot those videos and upload those videos as well. So I'm pretty busy. But once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. Pipeline says, I was saying my current car loan with School's First Federal Credit Union and it's $300 a month. But if I borrow from my M1 portfolio, it would be $100 because it's only interest. Man, that's a steal. That would be freaking awesome. Listen to a podcast while you're on the treadmill. I listen to a lot of ghetto rap and dance music when I am on the stationary bike. The stationary bike is actually really, really good. And listening to music does help me, especially running. To be honest, it helps me. When I'm running outside, I listen to like some motivational stuff. You know, just like kind of calm, philosophical, motivational stuff. But music definitely helps, especially if the tempo is pretty fast. Music absolutely helps. And I get in a groove. Like I hate running and not feeling like I'm smooth, you know, because of course, because I do it so much now, right? Like now I'm basically a runner, even though I don't consider myself as such, but I do it so much now. Like I want to be smooth. And there are times that I'm running and I'm not smooth. I'm a nerd like that. I try to be smooth with whatever I'm doing. If it's sports or if it's riding the bike or if it's on the elliptical, I try to be one with the machine and I try to be as smooth as possible. Like, you know, like, believe it or not, a lot of people kind of fight the machine and they never think about like if they're being smooth and like how is their posture and like is their upper body still? You know what I mean? Like if you're riding a stationary bike, you know, like your upper body, and if you're jogging or if you're on the elliptical, your upper body doesn't need to be all over the place. But like people don't think about that, you know, they just kind of, you know, work out and kind of flail around. But no, that's not me. So when I'm jogging on the treadmill, I'm like, when I don't feel smooth, I'm like, what is going on? And I try to smoothen it out. I try to run and feel like I'm not giving a huge effort. Like I try to just be as smooth as possible. I heard a guy on YouTube say that you should run in a way that you feel like you're always fresh and feel like you can just continue running. And I was like, huh, interesting. And it's amazing, like hearing something like that and planting that seed can change the way you do something, and it changed the way I approach running. And I try to be smooth and I try to look easy. You know, I try to. I mean, God knows what I look like. I don't know what I look like, but I know what it feels like. So I'm just like, all right, I hope I feel smooth. A cop told me to get a potassium supplement, like new salt supplement. The cramp is gone in minutes. Yeah, low potassium. No, for sure. Actually, it's funny because like there were times where I went crazy and I'm doing like 6 miles, 8 miles, 10 miles. And this is like daily. And my saving grace for not getting sore is taking a lot of protein. I've been taking a lot of protein lately, but I haven't been very deliberate about my salt and my sodium intake or even potassium. So thank you for for dropping that nugget. I actually bought 1-a-day vitamins the other day. I was like, bro, you need to be taking vitamins. Like, obviously I'm not going to get all I need from my regular diet, and the vitamins don't hurt anything. But yeah, potassium, like every now and then I'll make a conscious effort to eat bananas. But definitely probably the pill would help more. Ulysses says, what's going on? Ulysses says, hello, Dwayne TV. How you doing tonight? I'm doing great, man. He says, hello, everyone in the chat. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. New salt is found in the grocery stores. It is just a salt supplement. I don't know. I'd be kind of scared to take that because I have blood pressure issues. I don't know how that would affect me, but I'm always kind of scared. I mean, even something as simple as doing a little bit of salt in like lemon or lime water, right? Like that would help me as well. But I'm kind of scared. Martha says, Northern California, trying to learn more about credit building. It's driving me nuts. I really think my high usage is holding me back. Oh, and 2 charge-offs. Well, Martha, you definitely hit the nail on the head. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. 30 somethings are trying to hassle to make more money. Running is the lowest priority. LOL. That's funny. No, yeah, the high usage is definitely holding you back. Of course, the charge off hurts as well. Been there, done that. The charge offs it's what it is. It's going to fall off of your credit report 7 years after the date that it was reported, right? So if something was reported 7 years ago, right, it's going to fall off in 2024. So you can check when it's reported, like when you go to Credit Karma and see the date that it's reported, you'll see the date. Or you can call directly the credit bureaus, the Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and ask when it's going to fall off. And they will tell you. It's really, really neat, actually. And they'll tell you when it's going to fall off. So you can't really worry about the charge-offs. Like that's going to be what it is. Okay. But the usage, your credit card usage currently, like if you have, anything above 10%, it's certainly hurting your score. So if you can, just attack those little by little and pay those off. And your score is going to go up just by doing that. But your score is really going to go up more once those things fall off of your credit report, the charge-offs. Thank you so much for sharing that, Martha. That's so cool. So funny. She says 30-something trying to hassle to make more money. Running is the lowest priority. No, for sure. I mean, running was definitely not a priority of mine, but it's definitely a challenge that I decided to do just because I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. And boy, it's not easy. But I think it's kind of cool. I think it's neat. I want to see it through. And for me personally, choosing to do 200 days of running 2 miles a day for 200 days, it's clearly an overwhelming task. But I'm not focused on the 200 days. So like this exercise, this challenge is also a way for me to remind myself and focus on the magic that is today. Focus on the magic and the power that lies within the now, right? So I know that I'm going to choose to exercise every day. And because I have to do the 2 miles a day, like I don't give myself an option in regards to exercise. Like you would not believe I started running today and my ankle was hurting. And I was like, man, come on with this ankle. Like, come on, get out of here with this pain. Like I'm not going to stop. Right. So far I've been okay. I mean, I definitely have a harder time on the treadmill than I do out in the wild. But the beginning is always tricky. Once I get past the first couple of minutes, it's like getting on the elliptical. A lot of people don't necessarily like the elliptical. The Stairmaster is the same way, right? Like getting past the first 5 minutes of the Stairmaster. Are you kidding me? Like it takes a certain level of tolerance that you build up over time to stay on an elliptical, and definitely a Stairmaster. Stairmaster is not easy. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. when you do something like that and then you find that it's easier and you feel like a superhero, like I cannot tell you how many times I've been on the machine exercising and I just smile to myself because I feel so good. Like today I was on the treadmill and I was watching Survivor season 45. So watching Survivor season 45, which ended in December of last year. And I never get tired of watching shows like that because it's so cool. I love to see somebody thriving, having a breakthrough when they're winning a challenge. And it's crazy. Like it affects me in an emotional way and it evokes certain emotions from me and it makes me smile. It makes me get emotional and it's so cool. It's so cool that watching something and watching someone else go for their dreams can stir up that type of emotion. And it's just, it never gets old. Like it never gets old ever. And so, yeah, I mean, it's nice. I like stuff like that. Martha says after 30 something, then you start thinking about health. LOL. Now, these are facts. I mean, definitely possible. And when you think about it, though, you start to think about your health at whatever age. But prior to that, most of us had all these years of bad, practices. And then there is lack of information. Then you have to seek out the information. And then you have to be like purposeful about seeking out the information. Like, for example, once we learn what calories are and like how much effort it takes to burn 500 calories, but then like you eat something that's like 300 calories and it's a bag of chips, right? And like that entire bag of chips is like trash, right? It's like carbs, right? It's like no protein in there, or like so little protein. Or like people say, oh, beans are good. Beans are high in protein. And then like nobody ever like reads the nutrition fact. When you look, most beans actually have more carbs than they do protein. But everyone's like, oh, beans are high in protein. It's like, well, what about like reading for yourself, right? So it's certainly interesting because we have to kind of rewire, or reprogram the programming. You know what I mean? And that's the part that's very interesting because like for so long, you've eaten a certain way and you thought a certain way about things and it's not true. Then you got to go down this, rabbit hole, this scavenger hunt of finding out and learning. And people think you're crazy, when you start to do that type of thing. Martha says, my biggest concern with charge-offs, how will it affect getting business credit? The thing is, you can kind of work around it if you deal with banks that are user friendly in regards to business credit. Of course, it's going to affect it. However, if you're in a position, let's say you got in with American Express, let's say you got one of the American Express charge cards because the charge cards are easier to get because they're charging you an annual fee. And so they're a little more user friendly, right? So you get a charge card with American Express. It's going to be easier for you to get a business card, a business American Express card, right? Or you go with a bank that's a little more user friendly, or credit union with personal credit, then it will be easier for you to get a business credit card as well. The thing is, it takes time, and there's a lot of ways that you can kind of help yourself. Like if you're an authorized user on somebody's credit card that has a good long relationship with a bank and they add you as an authorized user, that could benefit you in a positive way. You could start to have a relationship with a bank that you would like to have a credit card with or even business loans with. You start by having a banking relationship with them first, and you nurture that relationship for at least a year. And then hopefully by then they'll be sending you information about getting a credit card from them or getting loans from them. So it just kind of really depends. And you have to also know, like, is this bank generous in regards to giving high limits on credit cards, in regards to giving out loans, that type of thing. And you're going to learn that by hanging around this community and other communities that are similar on YouTube. I mean, YouTube has everybody and their mom's talking about credit card and finances now. So definitely you won't have shortage of information. but that would help quite a bit. By the way, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them into the comment section. I'm going to be getting up out of here pretty soon because, like I said, I got to go get gas and put air in my tire, and then I got to watch a little trash TV, and I have to be sleeping by 9:45. It's currently 7:40 here in Houston, so that's a lot to get accomplished. So more importantly, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section. I would love the opportunity to answer your questions. I see there's 15 people watching right now. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up yet, please consider smashing that thumbs up. It's a free and easy way to support this particular video, and I would appreciate your support. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the comment section. I uploaded 2 very, very short videos today. One of them talking about day 22 of my journey, and the other talking about Uber. So if you guys haven't watched those, you can definitely check that out. That'd be really cool. Let me see here. I uploaded both of those right before I did the live stream. So they're both there to watch if you want to check that out. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys will have an incredible week, an incredible day. I hope your year is off to a good start. And if it's not, this is the magic. If it's not, you can always start now. You can always start today. Man, it's insane how words mean nothing until they mean something. You know what I mean? Like literally, you can start now. You can start today. You know what I'm saying? And starting now and starting today doesn't require perfection. And it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. And it definitely doesn't mean if you're not perfect, beat yourself up. Like, it's so counterproductive, right? We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. All you have to do is make sure that more days out of your week are spent being the person you want to be and going in the direction you want to go. Then you'll be successful, right? Obviously, if you spend 3 days out the week being the person you want to be or moving towards the direction you want, clearly that's progress. Now you're going to get there eventually, but you're going to get there a lot faster if you spent 5 days out of the 7 days moving in the direction you want to go in or being the person you want to be. I cannot tell you how powerful that is. That's why I challenge myself to the 2 miles a day for 200 days. And day 22 is not any easier than day 1, right? Day 23 is not going to be any easier than day 1. It's a choice that I have to make every single freaking day to value today. What am I doing right now? And that's why I'm doing the journey, because it's a reminder to me and it's a conscious effort and it takes deliberate, consistent action, right? But man, how sweet will it feel to complete the 200 days? How sweet will that feel? I don't know, but I know I'm not going to get there focusing on the 200 days. So I'm going to focus on the todays. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Do the same thing in regards to your life, in regards to your finances, in regards to being a better person, in regards to being a better partner, a better parent, whatever, right? Whatever you want to apply it to. Martha says, appreciate your help. Absolutely. Blake says, sorry, back in November was the large deposit. And next month, if they use the statement and don't ask for November statement, I'll be good, but nervous they might ask for it. Okay. Hey, Seuss, what's going on, man? Thanks for dropping that knowledge to Martha. Appreciate that. Neil, thank you for stopping by. Says good night. It will get worse before it gets better, but I'm getting stronger and better. Me exponentially. The big turnaround is coming. Absolutely. And that's how you got to see it. Choose to see the glass is half full. Choose to see things as positive. That's just better. Another thing is see the solution. Focus on the solution. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on what the solution is. And 99% of the time, we know the solution. 99% of the time. Pipeline says, I made it back home. Y'all, I'm not driving anymore. All right, cool. That's so funny. Anyway, you guys have an incredible day. Thank you so much for smashing the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm sorry that I'm cutting it short and I'm running out of here, but today was a long day and I got a lot to do before I go to bed. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Take care and be blessed. Peace.